Never miss an episode of the Final Furlong podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
Welcome to your weekend preview and your guide to the best of the racing live on ITV. We've got Jamie Wrenn subbing in for Peter Michael. He's not going to be here next week because he's going to be off on holidays, is Jamie, so he's stepping in to give us his top tips for the weekend's racing. Andy Newton is here as always on a Thursday alongside the great George Gorman. Looking forward to their analysis. Let's get into it. The first race we're going to begin with is the feature race at Newbury, the Mill Reef Stakes, and we saw an extraordinary performance on debut from Into the Sky for Jim Boyle. Not normally a source of first time out winners, but this horse absolutely bolted up by 7.5 lengths from Darkshore. What was impressive about that was Darkshore was having his third run. On his debut, Words of Truth beat him by 5.5 lengths. So for Into the Sky to do that on debut, pretty impressive. But what do the boys think? Jamie Wrenn, make sense of a really interesting running of the Mill Reef.
Yeah, I think it's a tip in itself. Really, the one I like, Words of Truth, Emma, because Wise Approach is not coming here. They must think this horse is good. Just look at the main he ran in. So Humidity won. Obviously, he was close up in the Solario. Mara Stancer was in that as well. Finished close next to Mara Stancer. Then subsequently won. Then was Geldet. Then won at Ascot, beating New Monarch. And then wins the last day at Newmarket. Sorry, excuse me. Beaten Watch the Snoop, who's in here by 2.25 lengths. Into the Sky, I think got a soft lead. Fair play to him, 80-1 winner. But I'm all over Words of Truth here. With the fact of the matter that they've chosen this instead of Wise Approach for me.
It's a race that Charlie Appleby has never won before, but he was going to run Shadow of Light, the horse whose name shall never be mentioned on this podcast again, because we told you he was an overrated hype job. But he surely would have won this race a year ago. He did go on to win 2 Group 1 juvenile races. On. Say again, George?
I've still got the gilet on right now.
Oh, you can keep that gilet, George. You can keep that gilet, see again. Yeah, European champion 2-year-old, Shadow of Light.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, that's better.
Nice.
Oh, my God.
Nice. Okay, well, listen.
Yeah.
Maybe some people are right. Maybe he'll bounce back and win the Breeders' Cup Mile. No, he won't. But the fact, Andy, that they were going to run Shadow of Light in this race a year ago, if he won 2 Group 1 2-year-old races, then he surely would have won this race. So that bodes well for Words of Truth. Are you with him, or are you with this exciting once-raced favourite?
I'm more with Words of Truth. I think Into the Sky, I mean, look, yeah, visually exciting. What was it, 7 or so lengths? But, I mean, you have to sort of ask yourself, why did it go off 80-1? That's the sort of question. And, what did it beat? All right. Potentially some good ones in there. But, the second and third haven't been out yet. The fourth, I think, actually ran today on Thursday at Kempton, another Godolphin horse. Can't remember the name of it now. It's something like Leone something. Anyway, that was only fourth today at Kempton. Didn't look a superstar. So, there are a few sort of niggly sort of things in the form line. I mean, yes, they supplemented it into this, and it has won at the course, and that is a plus, obviously, as well. But, the Words of Truth has the form in the book already. And even Rock and Thunder, that's, second in the gym crack. It's rated 108, and it's a big ask for Into the Sky. I just think, look, it could be a superstar, but at 5-2 or 9-4. The same price as Words of Truth, and like you say, they had Wise Approach in here. Appleby's never won it, but I mean, Godolphin have a couple of times. That Ribchester and Harry Angels won it, so they have targeted in the past. And it's worth pointing out that when it beat that Watcher Snoop, it was giving away £6 as well that day at Newmarket. So back on levels now. That has come out and won since at Ascot, the Hugo Palmer horse, and it did look quite impressive that day. But realistically, that was sort of 2.25 lengths. It's got £6 better off now. It's got to be Words of Truth, I think, for me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. And he's a half-brother to Ancient Truth, who this time a year ago, Charlie Appleby was of the opinion of was his best 2-year-old, even though he had Shadow of Light, who would go on to be European champion 2-year-old. His last race was finishing 3rd in the Dewhurst. He's no longer with us, which is a real shame, because he was clearly a horse of talent, but he'd won his first 3. And Charlie made a point of saying that poor Dam hasn't had much luck lately. The 2 previous progeny passed away. And that it was nice that this horse was showing a bit of talent and that hopefully he'd be able to go forward. The point that Jamie made about his debut, that Humidity maiden is just unbelievable. Really want to see where Title Roll goes. He was second that day and was favourite for it. But Morris Dancer's come out and won a listed race and is probably one of the most exciting horses that Godolphin have as a juvenile. Sirius A was beaten the neck in a Group 3 the other day. Humidity's won the Chesham and probably was the moral winner of the Solara Stakes given the interference he suffered. That maiden's worked out very well. The form of his most recent one has been, last 2 wins have been boosted by subsequent winners. The Darkshore one is interesting, but in the sense that he beat Darkshore by 5 3/4 lengths and Into the Sky beat him by 7.5 lengths when he was making his racecourse debut. But I'm kind of with the lads. I think Into the Sky, I'd need to see it again. Beware wide margin winners next time out. We've seen this before. Maybe he's the next big superstar. Maybe he is. But Words of Truth has solid form to his name. And 9-4 appeals to me, George.
Yeah, look, people won't be surprised to hear me saying again, like as I mentioned for the Puerto Rico race, when you got horses towards the top of the market in these juvenile group races that have sort of won a maiden or a maiden and a novice, it's just not for me. The guessing, like you're trying to work out how good they could be, and you can do little bits and pieces through like collateral form lines and things like that. But I'll always side with the horse that's sort of been there and done it on the level. And there are 3 in this race that have tried their hand at group level. Rydell Frosty and Sands of Spain both got put in their place by Lady Aman. But Rock of Thunder is a proven entity here, isn't he? He's highest rated. Obviously, not all of them have ratings here, but also tops the Racing Post ratings. Again, some of these horses haven't had a chance to prove quite how good they could be. But the second in the Rose Bowl Stakes at Newbury turned out fairly well, with Wise Approach finishing 3rd by half a length next time out in a Group 1 in Deauville. And the Jim Crack hasn't worked out too badly. I like beating Do or Do Not 5 lengths, who has all that form tied in with Zavateri. And also the fact that he's obviously improved past Do or Do Not since Ascot, where they're both finishing behind Gestad. Shows that he's improved since then as well. He's not just an early type that's got big figures in the book at early doors. I think this horse is still going forward, and he's placed at Group 2 level before, which means you're guessing far less than you are with the top 2. So I'll be siding with Rock of Thunder.
What's the forecast going? It's good to soft now. What's the weather forecast for Newbury, George? Or Andy, or Jamie?
I did have a look. I think there's a little bits of rain, but I think it's
bits of rain here and there, isn't there?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
Charlie made a point of saying the quick ground would be, as long as the ground is decent, he said, for Words of Truth. But the quick ground would suit him. The reason I was very interested in Rock on Thunder, very, very interested in him. He's the highest rated horse in the race, so it made sense to be. But why did Godolphin not go with hello, Bella? It's another cameo. For those of you listening, and most of you listen to the show, Bella's making another cameo on the podcast.
Well, she would just taken my boot trees and run outside with them if you heard any interference on my audio at the end of that. It was her attempting to chew everything to pieces, and she's about to run away again, I think.
As is her right. She can do whatever she wants. She's the boss. It could just be this race isn't going to suit Wise Approach, maybe, but I thought it was somewhat interesting that they took out Wise Approach, have gone with Words of Truth, and that is suggesting to you that they think that Words of Truth can win this race and therefore beat Rock on Thunder. So I'm going to side with Jamie and Andy with Words of Truth, but I completely get where George is coming from for Rock on Thunder. And maybe we're all wrong. Maybe we're all naive to be taking on this Jim Boyle superstar that Doreen Tabor has just bought into the ownership of. Are you with the potential new superstar for the Boyle Yard? Are you with us? Let us know in the comment section on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you for the weekend previews. We'll go to Ayr for the first race to talk about there. It's the 1:15 1 mile free bet at Ayr handicap. Who is that free bet from? I don't know. They don't sponsor the show, so we ain't giving them a mention. Kaziz makes his handicap debut for the Roger Varian team off a mark of 99. He's a brother to Taco Madeira, who won a 6 furlong handicap off 94 on good to firm ground. And Roger Varian won this race in 2016. Is he the one to beat, Jamie?
I really struggled with this race. I mean, it was the very last one I was actually going through. And I was going to say, no, I don't have it. But I do have a tentative selection.
Okay.
4 starts back go on the 6th of July. Theory of Everything. Won off a mark of 92 in a Class 3 race and won by a couple of lengths on soft ground, up £2. But what I'm kind of going on to is the form that they finished 7th at Ascot the last day. Thunder Roar is in this race as well. Just finished like 3/4 of the length behind it. Thunder Roar then came out the following day in Ascot and finished behind Native Warrior on the Saturday in Ascot on soft ground. Then Arcadian Thunder was in that race, finished 3rd last week in Doncaster. And the reason I like that form because it would come into a horse that I actually fancy for the Ayr Gold Cup. But on a slight tentative note, because of course and distance form on soft ground, only up £2. I know that was a class 3, this is a class 2, but a 10-1 tier of everything each way back. Course and distance is my theory when it comes to these kind of things, and she has the form. And I'll go with theory of everything each way.
And he gets James Doyle for the first time, which is an interesting jockey booking. Andy Newton.
Yeah, no, I mean, on that sort of form, the Roger Varian one, I'm talking about that Cafiz. I mean, that was 7th over in France, and obviously, the horse that won that Salau has come out and franked that as well. And you think, well, why is this not shorter based on that? Because that's come out and won a Group 1 after that. So, but yeah, look, I'm going to be taking it.
Who did he beat?
And he beat Rosalian, didn't it? I think. So, look, do you know what I mean? There's you plonk that form into here, and you think, well, why is that 5-1 or whatever?
You could have just said, Andy, the best miler in Europe, Emmet. He beat the best miler in Europe.
The best mile that always comes second in Europe. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Anyway, the form line's there. Once people pick up on that, then it may well get back. We'll see. But I've said many times before, I just wonder why it's so big. The one Jamie said, David O'Meara's actually got quite a good record. He's won it a couple of times in the past. That's a plus there. Spencer Camp's won it a couple of times as well, and they've got that Sex on Fire. But I think Thunder Roar could be coming back into form. That was like running on 4th last time out. Down £1. It ran 4th in that swept at the Ascot a couple of weeks ago. Course winner as well. But look, Mr. King, all right? Mr. King is the one. Go back, watch his last race, came 8th, absolutely boxed in at Haydock, couldn't get a run up the inside. Before that, ran 3rd. Actually came 3rd in this race last year off a mark of 90. Now mark of 81. All right. 9 of the last 13 winners of this race have been drawn 3-9. It's drawn in 5. But all I'm saying is just watch that last race back at Haydock when it came 8th. Only actually lost 2 3/4 lengths, but it was so boxed in, couldn't get a run. And then it sort of eventually did. The race was gone by that point. All right. Anyway, Mr. King will crown the champion here. All right. Okay.
Did you have access to my tracker? Or did you just use your eyes and watch that race the other day? Never got a run last time out, finishing full of running. Previously returned to form down in grade when beaten 1.5 length off a mark of 80 at York last time. Unreliable, but now dropped to a workable mark. Dual winner for Geraldines. 10 furlongs, good to yielding off a mark of 78, and 1 mile good off a mark of 84 in a tongue tie. 3rd for Ian Jardine over a mile and good to firm off a mark of 90. 3rd in a handicap off a mark of 80. No run last time out. Well handicapped. Doesn't look the easiest. He can hang left. Cheek pieces worn last 3 starts in this year. Discarded last time out when he got no run. Has had a breathing up. Half-brother of the Thunder Kiss. Group 3 winner and dual listed winner. Group 1 placed. Got better with age. The lack of headgear worries me. But he got absolutely mullered. I never got a clear run the last day. I'm with you. 9-1 about Mr. King. I did like the Roger Varian horse, and the form was fanked at Group 1 level, but Mr. King runs off a mark of 81. Come on, the Kingman. Mr. King. Newton and Kennedy at it again. George Gorman, who are you with?
Yeah, towards the top of the market, I'm going to side, like the sort of main ones there, I'm going to side with Impartiality. Ran well off this mark, 2 starts back on the heavy in Goodwood. But that was in first time cheek pieces. You can understandably got beat 12th of 17, but only beaten 4 3/4 lengths at York next time out on good to firm, which understandably you would think wouldn't suit a horse that ran so well on the heavy the start before. Over the 3 wins have come on good grounds. You'd think, somewhere, anywhere between heavy and good would be all right. I think the fact that we're back off a mark, that we're beaten off by a neck 2 starts back would be okay. And you sort of got that built in that if it does absolutely chuck it down with rain, you don't have to worry too much. As for some of the ones that are bigger in the market, I'm a big fan of Arctic Grey here. Winner of a novice at Southall first time out, and then 2 starts later, won on handicap debut at Goodwood, beating Fort George, who that day was running off 84, is now rated 100, courtesy of a win a few weeks ago at Newbury. So that's a decent bit of form there. Arctic Grey then since has had 2 runs on, firstly 2 runs on good firm, the first of which after that win was the Britannia, which I think can blow any horse's brain.
Yeah.
Well beaten the next twice, gelded, came back at Ascot on soft ground and actually ran all right to be beaten 4 lengths by Hickory. That was only a week and a bit ago. It would be a week ago 2 weeks ago on the day. I thought that was a decent comeback run there, off 62 days off the track. I think back on a sounder surface. You're talking a 3-year-old that's only had 6 runs here. Like he's very, very unexposed. I think he'll go close. It was very close between him and Leadenhall, who's a similar price in the market, but a lack of soft ground form put me off that horse a bit. So if it were to dry out there, Leadenhall would come into the equation. But the main play in this is going to be Arctic Grey each way.
Okay. Arctic Grey for George Gorman. We'll go to Newbury for their 130. It's a big sprint. Do we have the effects? Do we have the graphic? The sprint roulette wheel of madness will turn again. It was a disaster when we asked the magic guru to give us the 1, 2, 3, and they finished, what was it, 11th, 12th, and 13th, was it, Jamie? Disaster. Well, we'll try it again, shall we? We'll see what they come up with this time around. Rumstar is your favourite. Not the highest rated horse this time around. Has been in the past for a Group 1. But behind Group 1 winner Montasib, who's got the highest rating, makes his comeback after winning the Sprint Cup last year. He was a good 5th, beaten 2 1/4 lengths in the sprint on Champions Day at Ascot, but this is his first run since. Maybe he'll be good enough to win first time out. Maybe this is a prep run for Champions Day. 4-1. Rage of Bambi 11-2. Chagrin, who did as a massive favourite, 20-1 on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. 7-1 after he won the Beverly Bullet. First Instinct 8. Balmoral Lady 10-1. Where does the roulette wheel of sprint madness land Jamie Wrenn?
Oh, I don't know what to be honest with you. If this was 6 furlongs, I'd be all over Rage of Bambi. I really would. I never won over 5 furlongs, and I don't think she'd be in love with a bit of cutting the ground either. I'm going back to the Bullet, really, to be honest with you, Emmet. I know you had Chagrin the last time. I thought Curdas and First Instinct were very eye-catching that race. I didn't think the track suited them, to be honest with you. And I will finally, because it's the bigger price, I'm going to settle with Curdas. He's been running around in all the sprints, right? So 5th in Ascot behind American Fair, 5th behind Rumstar in the Coral Charge, 8th at Goodwood behind JM Jungle, 13th in York in the Nunthorpe, and then was 4th in the Bullet. But it's what is attracted me is that he was the last time he won was on soft ground in the Temple Stakes at Haydock. So the more rain, the better for him, and I think he's just better on a flat, straight course like Haydock, like Newbury, and I think. Look, as we said, you can't be confident. But at 12-1, with the form of Chagrin, Rumstar, they're all there. Rage of Bambi, they're all there with First Instinct, the whole lot. I think because he's the bigger price, I'm going to go with Curtis here each way.
Okay, I can completely see it. I'm going to go for a different, a new enough form line, shall we say. I was a little bit annoyed they didn't run him last week, but they've saved him for this race by the sounds of things instead. Grand Grey, who we haven't seen for 70 days. The last time he ran was behind Washington Heights. Who else was in that race? Oh, just JM Jungle, who comes out and wins a Group 2, because that's the current state of sprinting. Prior to that, he'd been behind James's Delight, who has disappointed in Group 1 company since, but he was drawn on the wrong side. Lethal Levi's came out and won a handicap. Big Gossie came out and won afterwards. Verspatilio came out and did Jamie a massive favour by winning her next start. My mate Alfie has run very well too. He sort of underperformed that day in a race that Stormboy was sent off favourite, but he'd shaped very, very well behind Sagier at Newmarket on his first run for Kevin Ryan and his first British run, and he has some good French form. So they've kept him fresh. He's a 20-1 shot in a division that is just bonkers. So I'm going to side with Grand Grey. Andy?
Well, a couple of stats just to throw out there. 5 of the last 7 have been drawn 5 or lower, which actually sort of knocks out the first 3 in the market, really. That Rumstar, Montisib and Rage of Bambi are all drawn, 9, 10 and 11. So something maybe there. Stall 3's actually been quite a hot one as well. 3 of the last 10, so that's Shagram. I don't know whether any of you saw that interview with Matt Chapman and William Haggis. I think it was a couple of days ago. I'm not sure what track they were at. Anyway, Chappers collared Haggis and he asked him about Montisib actually. And he said, look, the horse is absolutely fine and it will run well. But he sort of kept going on and on about the target being Champions Day Ascot.
Okay.
So you almost got the impression this was like they need to get a run into it, that kind of thing. But he was sort of backtracking a bit, saying it would go well. But that puts me off it. With the main target being next month. Anyway, that's just something out there. You can watch it on X or whatever. You can find exactly what I'm talking about there. Rumstar has obviously got an obvious chance back down in grade, 5th in the Nunth Fork, so can't rule that one out. So look, even though the draw stat is against it, I do quite like Ranger Bambi. I agree with what Jamie says. If it was over 6, then I'd be a bit more confident. But it has run all right over 5.5. And it has actually won on soft as well. So I'm just thinking, if there is a bit more rain, then we know its stamina is going to be all right. So the 5, it's mainly because it loves Newbury, doesn't it? Its form here is 1-1-4. Won the Hackwood in decent fashion, and it gets £3 off Rumstar as well. So that brings it pretty much levels, doesn't it? It's rated 109. Rumstar's 112. So getting the £3, it's level. So look, Rage Bambi for me, based purely really on the track form, loves it at Newbury.
Do you have the race card in front of you?
Yeah,
great, because Neve has done it. So she's told me she's asked the AI, the guru, for the 1, 2, 3. First, number 7.
Your old mate,
Shagram.
Oh no! I'm gonna have to back him
again.
Good
draw though. Draw 3. He's got if the draw stat carries on, 5 of the last 7, 5 or lower.
Okay. Well, anyway. He was a good winner the other day. Why not step up? All right, that's interesting. Second, number 3.
Grand Grey, the other one you talked about.
Oh, we've got the forecast here. Guru, we agree with you. And third, number 10.
First Instinct, the other Haggis horse.
Okay.
Mark Wandy's on.
Right, so that's what the guru thinks. That's what the sprint wheel of madness has come up with. 7, 3, 10. Remember, it was a complete disaster for the Flying 5. George Gorman, your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, I'm sort of in agreement with 2 of the panel. Anyway, I had Grand Grey was down as my sort of longer price, sort of shot in the dark sort of thing. Not quite a shot in the dark.
Are we including the guru as a member of the panel now? Does he get a seat at the table?
But the main play is Rage of Bambi. Like Andy's just said, the course form is very good. The only thing is quite interesting, actually. If you look back through its form, she's been a non-runner 3 times on soft ground for unsuitable ground, twice on good to soft for unsuitable ground, and she's been self-certed once on good to soft. However, that all stopped fairly quickly after she won that listed race at Newmarket on soft ground.
Yeah.
Whatever you suggested.
I'd say we won't worry about that. I'd say she's also been non-runner for being in season on good to firm, and she's now a Group 3 winner on good to firm. But we won't worry about any of that. As for concerns about her not quite being a 5 furlong horse like she was it in her younger day? She was beating a neck on. There you go. York in 2023. She's beaten a neck over 5 in a handicap of 100, admittedly, and 5.5 this time. Was it this meeting last year? At Ayr, she was beaten a length and a half in second over 5.5. And to be honest, like you could say it was because it was a Group 1, or like it's probably more because it was a Group 1 than the 6 furlongs, because she's obviously gone well over 6 furlongs. But she almost didn't quite get home the last day. Like it was probably maybe a case she'd done too much and too high a grade. But she's dropping back down to a level that she's proven herself competent at before winning that Group 3 earlier in the season. She obviously didn't stay the 7 Newbury, 2 starts back. I think she comes in here, the form horse, like Andy rightly said, she's best in at the weights, bar Montecebe, who comes here off a 336-day layoff. I just want to be with the form horse here, and she's a horse I've been keen on a long time, and I missed her when she won the Group 3. So I'm what's it? If you miss the wedding, you shouldn't go to the funeral. But I'm going to the funeral.
Not necessarily the thing to be doing. Not necessarily something that we recommend.
I went to a wedding last Friday, George, and I should be going to a funeral because of the state of me after it.
What do you mean?
That's why you got COVID.
By the time you were watching this, Spy Chief may very well have already run in the 405 at Newbury, which he might win, although I'm not sure if going back to 7 furlongs is actually the right idea with him. But the reason I mention him is because Rage of Bambi was beaten 6 1/4 lengths the last day behind More Thunder, who's probably a good thing for the champion sprint at this point. But Marvel Man, who finished 3rd that day, has come out and won the race at Doncaster, so the form has been boosted. If she replicates the run 3 starts back at Newbury, she'll probably win this. So the boys have told you. I'm going with the 20-1 shot, Grand Grey. I think this is a good opportunity for him. Jamie, your selection was?
Kurdos for me, 12-20.
Kurdos for Jamie. And the Sprint Wheel of Madness tells you our old friend Chagrin is the one to be with. But I think Andy, Jamie, and George have made far more cogent cases. Did Terry's Royale win, lads?
Terry's Royale. Oh, yeah. That no, I don't know. I haven't looked.
That's not good. That's not good to not know.
What about it?
Okay, the 150 at Ayr is the big football bet builder Doonside Cup Stakes. We've got Almerac for Andrew Balding and Oisin Murphy, who we haven't seen for 158 days. But boy, that was a performance. Himself and King of Cities were involved in an epic duel. They pulled 8.5 lengths clear. King of Cities has since run in a French Classic. He was beaten quite well by Camille Pizarro, but he was a really good winner at the York Ebor meeting in a group race. And understandably, Almerac is a pretty short price for this at 13-8. A couple of interesting ones against him, though, Jamie. What did you make of it?
Tricky little race, all right, Emmet, but I'm going to be boring here. I think there's nothing to beat that Almerac, especially it's made on soft ground at York. They put a long way clear of Nightwalker, was it? At the last day with King of Cities. King of Cities then went on to win a Group 3 in the York Festival, beating Boiling Point. I mean, it's rated 113 and it's getting £2 from a certain lad who's rated 110 and is running Mickey Mouse group grade races in France. Was 3rd in France behind Map of Stars, 6th in the Huxley behind the Foxes, last in the race, the City York State behind Royal Champion. I'm like, how is this horse rated that high? I just don't understand it. King's Gambit, I think, was never ever the same for not winning that handicap at Ascot that time. It hasn't won since the London Gold Cup, I think. I might be wrong there, but Liberty Lane, no. But it's just the proof in the pudding. It's Almerac is the improving horse, only run 3 times. All these have a lot of mileage. And I know it's boring, but at 13-8.74, I think this is just your winner. And Oisin aboard, what more do you want?
Yeah, I think he's a good thing. And as long as he's ready to go, and it's Andrew Balding, so he shouldn't lack for fitness. Put him in your multiples and don't question it too much.
It is the obvious one, and realistically, with the form backed up and everything, it's hard to put anyone off it. It's just the fact, it hasn't run for a little bit of time. But yeah, I wouldn't put anyone off it. The only thing I would say, just a couple of sort of snippets in the race. I think certain lad will appreciate. It's 9-year-old now. It's holding its form well. Will appreciate the sort of drop in grade, course and distance winner. If there is any more rain, that will certainly be in its favour as well. And just the other sort of point is the Liberty Lane owner, the Sheikh Mohammed Abeid Al Maktoum colours. They do seem to target this race because they've won 2 of the last 3. Earlier in the week, they had Liberty Lane, Boiling Point, and King of Cities all entered up in this. They've come down on Liberty Lane. I think Burke and Clifford Lee teamed up a couple of years ago to win it with one of his winners. And that's just something just to bear in mind, that for some reason they do like targeting this race. And, again, that's another one that won't mind any cutting the ground Liberty Lane. So there's only 6 runners, so you're not getting a much each way value. So you're sort of either with the favourite, and I can't put anyone off that. But if you want a bit of a punt, sort of left field, bigger prices, then Liberty Lane, I think, based on the owner, as I said, liking this race.
And Carl Burke remains in good form. He had a fantastic Irish Champions weekend. George?
Yeah, not a whole lot to add on what the boys said, really. Like Almeric's £5 clear on weight adjusted ratings from King's Gambit and Tuscan Hills, then £1 back to Certain Lad, another £1 back to Caviar Heights and Liberty Lane. Yeah, young horse, improving. And actually, it's only a small step up in trip to the mile 2. If you look at the dam, Alvarita has produced two winning jumps horses now, but Bridge and Albasta. And you look down the list, you've got Alice Baranzo is best at mile 2, Alceus best at mile 6, Altesse best at mile 4, Albert Bridgell when he's running over on the flat 2 miles plus, Albasta when he's running on the flat 2 mile plus. Like, they're pretty much all middle distance horses down here, and they're pretty much all winners. She's been very busy. She's had a lot of foals, bless her. But Almeric for me.
He's a good thing. Gamble responsibly and all that, but put him in your multiples and don't ask any questions about it. We've only had 2 runnings of the next race at Newbury. It's the Dubai Duty Free Autumn Cup Handicap. Both of them are won by Not So Sleepy. We're not going to see him in the race this year, but what a legend of a horse he was. The favourite is the William Haggis trained Castle Cove, 5-1 with Kieran Fallon on board. The Haggis team have got Dramatic Star, Tom Marquand on board, a 5-1 shot, and Majestic Warrior for James Tate, 11-2. Jamie, who are you with?
I find it struggling this one as well, Emmet, but I suppose there's the form with the Reverend, with the one you said is the second favourite, and Master Builder's in here. But what caught my eye was really that normally when he's free, that William Buick rides Master Builder, but now he's on a horse called Lever Power. But the problem is with him is that he's drawn in the car park at 14. His last 2 runs are very interesting. He was third at Chepstow behind the horse in that Baylor Bully. Right, he was getting giving £4 that day, but now he's getting £4. Then was 2-1 the last day behind Sempre Turo. Was 2-1 behind that. That one at 25-1. Sempre Turo then went on to Kempton and won. He is 14-1, I think, Libre Power, and I thought it was very interesting with the form with Baylor Bui and Sempre Arturo. Baylor Bui has a form tied in with a horse that I really fancy in one of the handicaps further down. I think it's the next one at Newbury. But it just caught my eye, very tentative, because I thought Buick had been on Master Builder because it was 6 behind the Reverend in that race with Dramatic Star. But it's just very eye-catching, Libre Power, and I think he's a chance, all right. Each way it's 14-1.
14-1 is the price for Andrew Balding and William Buick. Dramatic Star was the less colourful, shall we say, selection for me. That form with the Reverend, I think, is really good. He'd improved from his first run of the season when he wasn't beaten far in the Shergar Cup. That was off a mark of 89. He's now off 92 after that massive run against the Reverend. I think the Reverend is a really good horse, and I think Haggis will win this race, and I suspect 5-1 may not be available on Saturday afternoon. Andy, what do you like?
Yeah, I mean, Haggis has obviously got the first 2 in the betting as we are looking at it with that Castle Cove. Castle Cove has been ridden by Tom Marquand in the last, 2 or 3 runs or whatever. And the fact he's dropped last 2, so he's coming off that to ride Dramatic Star. So there's probably something there. Of the 2 Haggis ones, I'd much rather be with that. And yeah, I mean, that race, that Old Borough Cup at Haydock is sort of tied in with, Stress Free was 3rd. Master Builder was one I shortlisted that as well. Jamie, that's a good point you've made with William Buick. I didn't notice that, to be fair. And now I'm having a little bit of, second thoughts of it. But I do, he's better off. He's £4 better off with Dramatic Star, and it's a couple of pounds better off with Stress Free. I know it's behind it, but you just feel that it might just be running into form. And then, I don't know whether there's a reason for it. We don't know. Maybe they're just trying a new jockey. I don't think Pat Cosgrove's ever ridden Master Builder, but I don't know. I'd be the only thing with the Balding horse. Look, they're 2 from 56 with their 4-year-olds at Newbury, and their older 4 and older horses at Newbury. So they don't have a great strike rate there. That's the only thing. But it's a very interesting point. And look, the only other one just to mention, I think, blowing me old trumpet from last year, I think I might have even napped Not So Sleepy when it won last year at 10-1.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and it looked beaten, and then it sort of came again, and it's won the last 2 run-ins of this. Obviously, it's retired now and so on. But Morrison has got one in this. and it's a big old price. So maybe it's called that Azahara Palace, first time blinkers. And it did actually run all right last time at Bath. It's up in trip, so it could be anything, with the extra yardage. Just something to bear in mind, the fact he's won the last two, or the only two running to this, and he's going again. So Azahara Palace, and I've got to stick with Master Builder despite the jockey.
First time blinkers. Master Builder did us a big favour last year too, didn't he? Wasn't he involved in a forecast and tricast that we landed?
Yeah, 100% he did, yeah.
And yes, you're right, Andy. I was Master Builder until I saw Buick on Libra.
Well, yeah, it's a great point, to be fair, and maybe there's a reason for it, but I don't know. I've got to stick with it.
It was Minstrel Knight beats Filibustering beats Master Builder in a race at York. Who was fourth that day? Pop quiz, hot shots. You got 5 seconds. The Reverend.
Oh, right, okay.
Which technically means Master Builder off a mark of 91 has got a very good chance of beating Dramatic Star off a mark of 92 if you were to be a strict interpretation of the form. George, your thoughts?
Well, pick straight up again with Azahara Palace in the first time blinkers. Staying on very well the last day over a mile 3.5 in heavy ground. Literally just didn't quite get there. And it's been the same sort of story, like over a mile 2 at Sandown, like just, again, staying on the final furlong. Epsom, mile 4, like one going away, first attempt at a middle distance trip at the mile 4. I think while this horse's pedigree says this should be the worst thing possible for it, he seems to be crying out for a trip. It's by Ade out of a Saki Secret mare. And what we've got, the dams. So you've got, here we go, just bear with me. The foals are Campione, 6 furlong horse. Francisco's Peace, 5 furlong horse. Know When to Run, never won, but mostly raced over sprint trips. You got Treaty of Dingle, won over a mile, and then Sky's Blue, who never won, but never really went beyond a mile. And then you just got this Azahara Palace that looks like it wants every yard of this trip. So, and especially in the first time blinkers, I'll definitely be taking a swing at a price. The other one to partner it is very, very similar story, to be honest. Majestic was keeping on, first attempt at a mile 4, looked like it needed further at Goodwood. Only beating the neck into third, just keeping on all the way. Had a reasonably successful time in Bahrain, won a handicap over a mile 2 out there. But it's the same story every race in Bahrain. It was like nearly out the back of the telly after a furlong and then staying on. Big jump up in trip here for him, furlong and a half. But I think he'll definitely want this trip. It can't be too many horses by Conduit left, but he was a great influence for stamina.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think those two, they're both the same story. I think they're both going to improve for this trip, and they're both big old prices. I would say if it chucked it down, I'd give Gary's horse a chance. Like I think he's a pound above the mark. He was second to Polestar off in that Racing League race a few starts back. We've always, when the rain's arrived with him, we've always just run him. If that makes sense, we'll run him because the ground goes good to soft, and then a week later it's soft or heavy. And it's been a bit of a frustrating season with him, but he's a very capable horse if he gets his ground. But not knowing what the weather's going to be at this point, I think Majestic and Azahara Palace are a good couple of darts to fire because they're going to improve for this trip.
9-1 and 16-1 about friend of the show Hughie Morrison's runner Azahara Palace in the first time blinkers. We have to get Hughie back on the show soon. He was great fun. We had him on the last day, and I think he get a great kick out of winning that race. The Silver Cup, the consolation race for the Ayr Gold Cup, 225. The 9-2 favourite is Bin Rahir for William Haggis and Oisin Orr. I don't know why I struggled with that pronunciation. I should have got it okay. Noriko for Hugo Palmer and Oisin Murphy, 13-2, 10-1, and double figure prices about all the rest of them. Did you stick a pin in it, or do you have a very confident selection, Jamie?
Oh, pin in it. But the one that caught my eye very tentatively is at 16-1. Was Tree Link second last year in the Ayr Gold Cup behind Levi, and it's Silky Wilkie. My problem is it's drawn 1. It's 16-1. The thing is that last year it was off a mark of 99 in the Gold Cup. Sam Phelan was on taking 7 off, so that's 92. Now it's basically £6 lower off 86 with Clifford Levy back on. It's just the way, and he was third, came back to form the last 8 York. I thought it was a good run in prep for this. So he's £13 lower on his official rating, but £6 lower technically from his Ayr Gold Cup, finishing 3 lengths behind Levi last year. So it's a tentative poke and a pin in it. 16-1 Silky Wilkie for me. Yeah.
I will not criticise a 16-1 pick from Jamie Wrenn. Andy Newton.
Yeah, look, Silky Wilkie was on my shortlist as well, Jamie. So fist pump over there as well, mate. Yeah, like you say, second in the Ayr Gold Cup. When you do all the calculations, £6 better off with from last year. Draw 1, like you say, is a little bit of a worry. Last year's winner came from 22, but there has been a winner from 2, 4, 5, well, 4 twice actually in the last 10 years. So it's a weird one really, because in the actual main event, you probably do want double figures, but for some reason here, 7 of the last 9 have been drawn 11 or lower. So might get away with it. That's the only niggle though. But yeah, definitely well handicapped. And of the 2 at the sort of top of the market, I think that the Oisin Murphy ridden Hugo Palmer one, that Noriko could have a bit more to come. I think they've it's just been sort of winning by a sort of short head, 3/4 of a length, and you can sort of take that 2 ways. The handicapper might be sort of catching up with it, or it might be a bit of a tricky one to assess by the handicapper. So just think, with a couple of months off, this will be in the target again. Might be a bit more to come from that Noriko main bet, and then Silky Wilkie at 20s looks a solid option really, if you can overcome that low draw.
George, can you make sense of it?
I'm with Andy on Noriko as the one towards the sort of top of the betting. A very similar opinion to him. I think he's just doing enough, and I think he's getting away with a lot with the handicapper by doing so. Like, he's won, was it from when he started, when he beat Cody Lyon back in May 2024? He started off 71. He's somehow gone up 90, only gone up £19 for 4 wins and a second, which is fairly good going, like, really, and looked like he had plenty in hand still. She had plenty in hand still the last day, even proven on soft and heavy going. Should the rain come down, but also obviously a winner the last day on good. Of the ones at bigger prices, I quite like Rousing Encore here. As a course and distance winner in October last year, also has a second over course and distance. I think those might be the only visits to Ayr. Yeah, so 2 visits to Ayr, second and first. And what was it? Now off 82. Last winning mark was 82 at York in May, when beating Dark 30 over this trip. I just think, we're back down to a winning mark at a course that this horse likes, and I think he's massively overpriced.
What did you make of his run the other day? I was watching this back earlier. The run at Epsom
York.
Back in June.
Epsom.
Because I was expecting him to win shortly after that. And it didn't quite happen. But last time out in first time cheek pieces was definitely an upturn in form, and yet he's dropped in the handicap again.
Exactly. That's my thing. And I think that we're down to, let's say, you got at Epsom, he'd just gone up 5 as well, and looked like he probably should have gone close. But I don't know. It could well be the case that they sort of maybe they were expecting some slightly better runs. They're hoping to get into the Gold Cup, but it's worked out pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he was second in a Group 2 as a juvenile, and obviously we're a fair way away from that now, and he hasn't built on that. But he's unexposed in the cheek pieces, and you're getting 20-1 about him. I thought he was really. You really pricked my ears now when you started talking about Rousing Encore, because I had him pretty high on the list as a horse that this could just be the moment where he starts to finally step forward. So
draw 11's all right. It looks like as well, isn't it? 2 years ago we had a draw 11 winner. That wob.
Yeah, I have a note here about him from his result back in May. So he won. He's back down to the same winning mark, but that was a really good win at York when he beat Dark 30. Yeah. And he's back down to that mark. He'll win this. He'll win this. Rousing Encore, 225. Don't complicate your mind. Take the 20 to 1. Throw them in your multiples. Sorry, boys. We're just going to crush you there and head on. Back to Newbury for the 240, the Dubai duty-free Class 2. Now, hopefully we'll be getting first-class flights to Dubai and taking full advantage of the duty-free. Hey, Jamie, you're going to be on a flight very soon. What duty-free purchases will you be making with your massive winnings from the 240 at Newbury?
I don't know yet. We'll see. It's for other people's ears, I suppose. We won't say nothing to something. But we'll get on with this. This is a good thing of the whole weekend. And it's the favourite, unfortunately. And it's Defiance.
Yes.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Fourth on seasonal debut with Epsom behind Eckerd Secret. It was very eye-catching of the hold-up horses. Third then fast finishing at Goodwood behind Westridge. And then the last day in Hamilton, it was up to 1.5 miles. And of course, it finished in front of the horse that I had said had form tied in with Libre Par and Baylor Bouet, whatever it's called. And it finished second to Paddy the Square. Now, I think they reported that the ground was too fast, but it was quietly fancy for John Smith's Cup. Then you have to remember that his best form was 1.2 miles in the Blue Ribbon Trial on soft ground behind Bella Justin. Bella Justin now is rated 110. Defiance is rated 100. So you work that out. I think they're looking for the easing ground. Step back from 1.5 miles to 1.2 miles. Buick booked. I think was it 130 the best price, 3 to 1, something like that. Absolute good thing, and I think he'll win and he'll get its season going after this.
Defiance for the defiant Jamie Wrenn. Andy Newton.
Yeah, I do respect those at the top of the market. I'd see where you're coming from with Defiance and even the likely second favourite at Almashire as well. But I think Theory of Tides could go all right. That was fourth last time at Gosden Horse. That was the first one after being gelded as well, so it might have a bit more to come. Now it's had the old snip. And Serenity Blue was looking impressive. Bombed out last time. I think it was Goodwood, but I think not every horse acts at Goodwood, so we can sort of forgive that one maybe. But look, we have got last year's winner in this race, that Mustazid, bolted up in this. It's worth mentioning it was heavy ground then, but it's only rated £1 higher. It beat that Bolster. I think it was by about almost 3 lengths actually, 2 3/4 lengths in this. So yeah, look, if there's any more rain, that's going to massively aid it, and Mustazid. But, you can ignore its last run. You watch that back. The jockey just got the hood off too late and it fluffed the start, lost loads of lengths at Doncaster, I think it was. So, forget about that. But before that, it's been running all right, running into form. It's been dropped down again to a mark of 87. And we know it likes this race. We just need a little bit more rain. Mustazid.
If there was more rain, would that put you off Theory of Tides?
Yes, possibly. It's just because it ran all right, I think, first time after being gelded last time out. If there's more rain, Mustazid would be definitely trumping Theory of Tides. It's just if it stays at sort of good to soft, then last time it came fourth on good, didn't it? Theory of Tides. So, but obviously it's bombed out on heavy before. It has one on good to soft, didn't it? Yarmouth. So. We'll see what happens with the ground.
He was like a drunken sailor coming out of the stalls. But, why is this horse still in the same ownership? Why is he still with John and Thady Gosden? He's a 4-year-old now. They haven't run him for a year. He comes back. This is his second run off a gelding operation. He was running off a mark of 91 and he's only beaten a length and a half. It's the same mark. Second run off of the season, eligible to improve for that. Eligible to improve, second run off a gelding up.
Yeah, a slight drop back in triple suit as well, because I think it just got run out of things, didn't it, at the end as well, in that last race from memory. It's only down half a furlong here, but yeah.
One on good to soft ground on his second start, but he's been withdrawn on soft ground in the past, and he bombed out spectacularly on heavy ground. Mm-hmm. He's interesting. At a double figure price, he's very interesting. George?
Yeah, I'm with Jamie with Defiance. I thought you could sort of upgrade that form the last day at Hamilton. It didn't probably wouldn't have beaten the winner, but did suffer a small bit of interference there on the run-in. And actually, you sort of look at it. Sporting Silvermine had Warren Fentiman on board that day, so effectively he was up £5 the next day, with Marco Gianni on board and placed again, beaten 2.5 lengths. Paddy the Squire actually ran very well again next time out, and I thought he'd stay the mile 6, but you'd almost have to say he didn't, because he ran a great race and he just stopped a little close home. And he pulled a bit hard as well. And despite that, again, only beating 3.25 lengths. I think you can upgrade that. I think that's a good bit of form, especially if Connections have come out and said the ground was too quick. You get an easier surface here. He did win a maiden at Sandown on good soft ground. And the run behind A Curial Secret was decent on good soft, but it's probably softer at Epsom. I think we all know by now over that weekend. I just think it's a form horse in the race. I think it's pretty straightforward for Defiance here.
Okay, massive confidence though from both Jamie and George for Defiance. Theory of Tides one for Andy and I to keep an eye on, but I'm with the lads. I think Defiance will probably win, but that Theory of Tides is one of those horses that suckers you in because he's such a big price, and then afterwards you're looking at the racing on ITV going, why didn't I just stick with the favourite? The two boys had made such a compelling case. Why did I complicate it? Okay, back to Ayr for 2 races before we wrap up. We've got the Get Rewarded with Lad Books. Anybody have any Lad Books there?
I've bought 100,000 of them.
Oh, you buying any sausage rolls with your Lad
Greggs.
Books? Hey, whatever. It's the Firth of Clyde Group 3 for the Ayr Challenge Cup. Coming attraction, favourite for Roger Varian and Ray Dawson, who has been brilliant this season, 11-4. Lightning Palka for the Royals. Ed Walker and Kieran Schumark for the King and Queen, 5-1. Argentine Tango has got some solid form, an 8-1 shot. Rogue Attraction, Ed Bethel and Callum Rodriguez is 8-1. Who are you with, Jamie?
I don't know whether to take on this favourite, but I think she's favourite because the only thing on debut behind Indigo Dawn has done nothing for the form. Then Coming Attraction bolted up at Cheltenham by 5 lengths. But it's the form of her last run at Chester, beating Blingy Sister, who was an absolute eye-catcher in the sales race at the Curragh the weekend, backed off the board for Hugo Palmer, and was murdered behind Alpar's Land, is it, or something like that? Or the Burke horse.
It was desperate.
Yeah, go back and watch the race. And I think that's why it's favourite. Sorry, my throat's gone from this joke. Argentine Tango has been to the well. Obviously, 8th last week in the Flying Childers, 6th in the Lauder, 2nd behind Lady Amen at Goodwood. But it's the horse that is a bigger price than it, and it beat it in the Lauder, is attracting me. And for Simon and Christopher is at 9-1 is Oisin Murphy booked in Dandana, who was 4th in the Lauder behind Royal Fixation. 2nd was America Queen, and it beat Argentine Tango, sorry. So it's a bigger price than Argentine Tango. I know it's a point, but it's 9-1 each way, because I think the favourite is favoured by default because of Blingy's Sister last week, and it only won a conditions race at Chester, where Dandana has group form, and that Lauder will look good because Royal Fixation was obviously behind Venetian Sun. I know Venetian Sun disappointed, but I never thought she'd stay 7 furlongs. So I put a line through that. She did finish 3rd, but I really like Dandana each way here. Yeah, 9-1.
Load of unexposed, lightly raced horses who've got nice pedigrees. Who knows which of them is going to be able to take a big step forward? Some of them have been highly tried. I thought Coming Attraction was going to be hard to beat, Andy. That was a really smart performance on debut. She wasn't beaten far. She stepped forward from that in the all-weather at Chelmsford. She was backed as though defeat was out of the question. That's because it was. She wins by 5 lengths. And the last day at Chester, it's Chester. And I absolutely get why Jamie would be sceptical of that, but she did it well, and she was sent off a well-backed favourite too. I like her.
Yeah. What about the ground? I mean, it's probably a slight unknown, do you think, for Coming Attraction?
Possibly.
Possibly, but
what's Clem Fandango's form?
Well, it's French bred, so you might be all right with the softer ground. We'll see. But
the damn one on good to soft ground. Clem Fandango. Stop talking, Clem Fandango. If you don't know what that is, by the way, then I don't know what to tell you.
No, I've got no idea, but it was a good impression.
Coast of London.
All right, okay.
Matt Berry.
Thank you. Shut up, Clem Fandango.
Right, you finish with your Flandangos, yeah.
Can we just intersperse a clip of Clem Fandango interrupting Andy every time? Andy, just Clem Fandango here. Just think if you were to give it a little bit more bass in your voice, it would really help.
Right. I'm going to change the mood, Queen, all right, a little bit, all right, here. But, yeah, I think that one's interesting. The first turn cheap pieces, got the form there. Richard Hughes, camp at the moment, a little bit not great form, so that'd be a little bit the worry. But I am my main pick here, and it's not a massive, I don't have a massive opinion in this race, but I'm sort of with Jamie with Dandana. I just think, form's there last time in the Lauver, fourth. It didn't settle that day, but did it? Ran a little bit free. And he's got she has got Oisin Murphy takes over from Harry Davies as well. So hopefully Oisin can get the filly settled a bit better, get home. That looks decent form already in the book to me. And what is it? Is it 8s or 10s or something? 9 to 1? I don't think it'd be that on the day, especially with Murphy booked.
Yeah, that's fair. George?
Yeah, I'm very much in a similar place to Jamie on this. I'm probably a little keener on Coming Attraction than him. But as I said before, with the last juvenile group race we covered, I like the horses that are proven at the level. Argentine Tango is, but God, the form figures will tell you that horse is over the top by now. And the only other one that's even sort of made a dent in an attempt at group level was Dandana. Slight concern that horse was pulled out, she was pulled out the last day for unsuitable ground at Salisbury on soft, but what was that, 8 days before this? Might just been the case they were waiting for this. It's not a race I'm massively keen on. I've got a lot of respect for Coming Attraction, but if I was pushed, I would have a small bet on Dandana.
Damn, okay. 3 for Dandana.
You're the Clem Fandango.
No, we're going with it. Okay, so just sing it normally and then do the short voiceover mentioning the product at the end.
All right.
Hi, Stephen. This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
Who the fuck are you?
Clem's with us for a few weeks on work experience.
Can you hear me, Stephen?
Yeah, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
If you sing it normally, then do the short voiceover mentioning the product at the end.
He's just fucking said that.
Hi, Stephen.
Yes.
This is Clem Fandango.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Maybe try a couple of the traditional readings again.
Oh. There are people like that in media, by the way. Clem Fandango is based on an actual person.
I'm doing something. I'm contributing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Hello, George, can you hear me? It's Clem Fandango here. That thing that Andy just said, I'm now saying that as well. It's Clem Fandango. Oh, my God. Yeah. The Ayr Gold Cup, Northern Ticker, good winner the other day, is a 5-1 shot. Don't mention it too much, though, because Andy Newton was all over Comanche Brave. Comanche Falls. 2 Tribes, 6-1. Ain't Nobody runs off a mark of 99, despite the fact that he's now rated 112. But does that even matter, considering the sprint division is so rubbish, Jamie? Or is Ain't Nobody so incredibly well handicapped that's going to mean it doesn't matter that it's not a 5 furlong race, and it doesn't matter it's not a 5 furlong race on quick round. He's just going to win.
Well, I'm tipping a horse that I'd say everyone's going to look back at this podcast and say, Jamie Wrenn only likes Oisin Murphy. But I am tipping Pura Sangu. I'm going to back this horse till he wins. I'm sick of backing it. Hasn't won since the 14th of October.
Oh, yeah.
2023, or at 6 furlongs on soft ground, beating a horse called Esquire, rated 140 was after that, and now it's down to the rating of 96. Was second last week behind Desert Falcon at Doncaster, only beating a length and a bit in a bunch finished. I have was a great prep for this. I just rattled through the forms quickly because there's a bloody lot of it. On his 2-year-old days, it was 5 furlongs beaten by Beautiful Diamond at Ayr on the 22nd of September 23. Like this horse's form at Jassor, Inisherin, Asphora, Get It, Quinault, Apollo 1, who was second last week, Doncaster, More Thunder, Get It again at Ascot, Darkness, Desert Falcon last week. I think that's been, because of the 2-year-old days, has course form behind Beautiful Diamond of the Fahis. Finally, I think, as you know, it's the sprint division, whose turn it is today, but I think finally it's its turn after the good run last week at Doncaster. And poor Sango. I'm going to back this horse to the wins a big handicap. And I'm backing it again this weekend. I see it's gone from 20s to 12s there. So, yeah, 12 to 1 each way. You're going to get, 6 places? Something like that. So, poor Sango for me, yeah.
He was 16 to 1 an hour ago, or an hour and a half ago, I should say, when we talked about this race on TalkSport 2 with Lee McKenzie on Racing Live. And I wasn't dismissive of him, but I then rewatched some of the races as I was having a coffee and getting ready for the show and realised, if it turns soft ground, this guy's going to bolt up.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be massively in his favour. And I think he's disappointed in the Stewards Cup twice when well fancied for it. He wasn't seen to best effect in the race, though. He was held up. He was pushed along 2 furlongs out. He gets hampered towards the end of the race.
All right, and his 2-year-old days was second to Big Evs, as well, on heavy ground, only beating a schnout.
And gets within 2 lengths of More Thunder, who would murder this lot. Yeah. Oisin Murphy, Andrew Balding striking again on a big Saturday handicap. I'm with you, brother. I'm annoyed that we're not getting the 14 to 1 that was available 16 to 1 an hour and a half ago, but let's take the 12s. First time cheek pieces to unlock improvement. Boom, son. Don't cooties. He's got the flu, and I'm pretty certain I'm coming down with it now too, which is amazing because we've only spoken to each other virtually, but somehow that's the way it works these days. Just via WhatsApp.
You were down in Cork a couple of weeks ago. You probably spread around the whole gas, I say, did you?
Yes.
I made a fair effort, Jamie, on your behalf to do exactly that.
There he is, boy. The fellow used to be on Cork 96 FM. That Kennedy bloke.
You're getting really sick, don't you, boy? Shout out to the Cork posse. Great to be down in Cork and hopefully back down there again very soon. All right, Andy.
You seem better already, Jamie. Yeah, you're fine. You ain't got COVID. Yeah, look. What about draw 2? Are you not worried about draw 2 for this balding horse?
Of course, I'm worried about it. But if you allow yourself to be concerned about the draw,
what you said about the Silver Cup, Andy, keep saying that instead of the Gold Cup.
You just drive yourself bananas.
You would, yeah. I mean, it's a pin job, innit? But look, if you do like the stats, 15 of the last 16 have been drawn 8 or higher.
Well, then why, Andy Newton? Why, Clem? Andy, this is Clem Fandango here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Why does the time form draw by a say strongly against high?
I don't know. Maybe it's sort of more in the middle because, I mean, look, the last winners have been 17, 21, 24. So I don't know why it's saying that, to be fair, because, that's pretty high. Then 13, 25, 12, 14, 20. Last year's winner was 20. So I don't know why it's saying that at all.
Send that Dan Barber an angry message and say this is nonsense. Get on to Lewis Tomlinson and have a pop at him.
Yeah. And then look, the other one is the age stat as well. If you do like some of the older brigade in this, since 1994, there's only been one winner that's aged 7 or older, right? Okay. And I think that was that Summergand in 2022. So there's plenty of older ones in there that you can sort of knock out based on the age stat there. A lot of people are going to be with Ain't Nobody, second in the Num Fork, coming back into a handicap. But the sort of 3 I like, okay, just quickly, Kevin Ryan's got a great record in this. He's won it 5 times. Form's a bit iffy at the moment, but Hammer to Hammer was second at Royal Ascot, and then it bombed out in the Stewards Cup. £6 better off with 2 tribes. It's freshened up. 3-year-olds have actually not bad. They've won 2 of the last 10. Stall 8 actually has been a hot stall. I think 4 of the last 20 have been come from stall 8. So that's that one. Even though I've talked about the age stat, I think Jordan Electrics might do all right. Might hit the frame. It's 5th last year. It's a pound lower, and they've stuck quite a decent £7 claimer on. I think she had a winner. That Lauren Young, she had a winner today. Might have even been the first race at Ayr. I thought she did well there. So technically, that's £6 better off of that Northern Ticker who ran behind. And then I think that Flash Harry, the other 3-year-old in the race, Clive Cox, he won this before in 2009. Just think there's more to come. It went up £5 for winning last time out. That was a quick time. You look back at that time when it won, I think it was it Goodwood or somewhere? I can't remember now. Yeah, Goodwood. Went up £5, but they've got a £5 claimer on, so completely offset.
It's actually Andy. He went up 7, so he's actually £2 well in. So he's got a £5 penalty, but he went up 7.
Okay, yeah, there you go. With the claimer on. So yeah, I need to go back to school and do some more maths lessons, don't I? But yeah, anyway, Flash Harry, Hammer the Hammer, and Jordan Electrics for the each way.
Is Tom Eves riding Hammer the Hammer because he prefers him over Ain't Nobody, or is that just the way the ownership is working now? Because he's ridden Washington Heights and Inishirin against him. in the last two.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, well, who's been on the last twice? Kevin Stott.
Yeah.
Body.
Kevin Stott will be riding Chagrin, so he's not there. He's in Newbury.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it was sent off favourite Hammer the Hammer, wasn't it, for the stewards? It got hammered in, didn't it, on the day to silly price, and obviously bombed out. But he sort of got no run, and once the chance was gone, you watched that race back. I didn't give it a hard time. So before that, it was flying, wasn't it? So it's had a month and a half off.
Well, his win on the all-weather was the win at Chelmsford. That was the level of a performance of a group class sprinter at least. And then he's run a massive race at Royal Ascot. He's only beaten the length by Adrestia. The performance at Goodwood was disappointing, but I was a little bit from memory. Did they go? They didn't go forward, did they not? Didn't they? Was he? No,
I think it was at the back. It was on the other side, wasn't it? I think the winner, Two Tribes, was on the stand side, and I think it was in the group on the other side. And again, when you watch it, they sort of almost knew that had no chance after 2 furlongs out. And
he was on the wrong side.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's one run you can forgive, and it was Goodwood, and it was had quite a few races and so on, and it's had a break since. And I just think it's interesting. As I say, Kevin Ryan, there's no better trainer at the moment in the Ayr Gold Cup. With 5 wins.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the horse I was looking at for this race, because of Carl Burke's record, because of Kevin Ryan's record even, was Ain't Nobody, because I wasn't sure that Hammer the Hammer was going to go under the weight he's carrying. But he's the horse I tipped on Talksport today. Because I thought
only one winner.
Okay, all right, Pure Sangue. And I'm with you on Pure Sangue, but I...
No, there was only one winner of this. Unfortunately, he fell the last day at York, Almerac. If it ran, it absolutely won by half.
Oh, my goodness.
Half the track. But that's life.
Yeah, that was a sick. Well, listen, thank God Jim Crowley and
thank God everyone's okay.
Thankfully, and Trevor Whelan are okay. Thankfully, that's the main. Well, they're not. They're not okay. Was anything done about that, by the way? For jockeys have been banned left, right, and centre because oh my goodness, you used the pro cush a little bit too much. There's severe interference caused in that race. Somebody could have died. Was there bans handed out?
I didn't see anything.
No, don't do anything about that, BHA. An actual thing that's a real problem in the sport. Don't do anything about that. George?
Funny enough, the last 2 off my list were Purasang and Flash Harry. So if they win, I'll be delighted for the boys, but second for myself. Purasang, I was sort of just leaned more towards the side. The last run was all right, but based off of 2 runs at Goodwood, you're putting a lot of faith in the first time cheap pieces. And with Flash Harry, it may be through no fault of his own. Obviously, he's running off £7 lower than he should be. But I presume through no fault of his own, he's never run on anything other than good to firm, other than this one run on the all-weather, which was a slight concern for me. I came down on our Stewards Cup winner, who basically he got beat by Northern Ticker the last day by 3/4 of a length. And thanks to that horse only went up 3, but carries a £5 penalty here instead. So Two Tribes is £5 better off for a 3/4 of a length beating. Obviously seems to be improving fast, this 4-year-old. I think 2 previous visits to Ayr. One, was beaten a neck and a handicap off 88 here. And then the other one wasn't so good, but not terrible. Beaten 5 1/4 lengths on good to firm. But I think a return to softer going should see this horse run to at least a similar level to how he did in the Stewards Cup. So that being my one towards the top of the betting, and then as always towards the bottom of the betting. So horse I've heard tipped up a lot this year and nothing's happened, but I'm finally getting on board. Is Jordan Electrics. The £7 claim is just the one that just makes me think like last winning mark was 96 at Hamilton in August 2024. We're off 98 now with £7 off, so we're £5 lower than that. So that's puts him off a mark of 91, which he's not seen since July 2024. He won later in July 2024 off 92, beating Silky Wilkie. I just think it's a dangerously low mark for this horse. I think, is he an Ayr winner? He was beating a neck at Ayr.
He's a course and distance winner.
He's an Ayr winner. Course and distance winner, May 2024, and second beating a neck in June of 2024. I'd feel very, very silly if he went in at 28-1 with a £7 claim run. Do you know what I mean? I've just got to have an interest in this horse in this race. Obviously, better known for which one of the Northern courses is it? He's won a ridiculous amount of races at. Is it Beverly or somewhere? Hamilton, that's the one. Yeah, he's won like 8 or 9 or something around there, isn't he? Or maybe even more.
He's the course record holder, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But just connections. £7 claimer, Mark. I'd feel very, very silly. But if he went in and I wasn't involved at that price. But I'll have 2 goes at it, seeing as it's the Ayr Gold Cup. It'd be 2 Tribes and Jordan Electrics.
I got news for you, kid. The 28-1 is gone. 16s now. So George Gorman has already moved the markets with his few bets on this race beforehand. I'm leaving that race. I like Hammer the Hammer. I think he's interesting. I might throw a few quid on him in the morning of the race. Pure Sangway, if the price holds up, I might back him. But I like Jordan Electrics. I like Andy's horse. It's just too difficult. I'm gonna skip that race. But I am gonna play a lucky 63 on Saturday. The question is though, what are the best bets gonna be for Jamie, Andy, and George? Beginning with Jamie Wrenn.
The nap is Defiance, and the next best would be Dandana in the Firth of Clyde. Yeah.
Let's go double.
Yeah, I definitely back that in the double. Yeah.
Andy Newton.
Let's go bigger price one this week. 115 at Ayr. We talked about that Mr. King being unlucky last time. That's going to be the nap. And look, if the rain comes, that Mustazid in the 240 at Newbury. We like Rager Bambi and that Words of Truth in the Mill Reef as well. But look, Mr. King's the nap and Mustazid if there's rain.
Well, maybe I should be going with Rager Bambi, but I'm going with Words of Truth, Mr. King, Grand Grey, Almarac, Dramatic Star, and Rousing Encore. That's my lucky 63. I'm going to join Jamie on holidays. We'll all spread COVID all over the place. Knock it off. George.
I will go 2 Tribes as the nap in the big one, and Rage of Bambi as the next best. But the best each way bet of the day is probably Rousing Encore in the Silver Cup, but Jordan Electrics wouldn't be far behind.
There you have it. That's your Saturday racing on ITV previewed for you in the company of Jamie Wrenn, Andy Newton, and George Gorman. If you have not seen or listened to our special with Paul Ferguson breaking down some of the novice chasers and second season hurdlers to follow as part of Paul Ferguson's Jumpers to Follow series, then check it out now. It's available for you in all podcast apps and on YouTube. Good feedback so far. Thank you very much for watching that. Shout out to Liam Firkin for saying, it's finally started. It's now okay to talk about jumps racing because the boys have done it. So hopefully you enjoy that. I'm still very much in flat mode, but that podcast, I have to say, really got me excited for the new National Hunt season. And hopefully it'll help you along the way as well. We're back on Monday to break down the key talking points. And we've got a number of juveniles to follow for you as well. Hopefully potential superstars and horses that could be potential threat to Zaviteri in the Dewhurst, or maybe a horse that could usurp him as winner of the Guineas. Plenty of horses to look forward to. We've got a top team of pundits to bring you that as well. And lots more National Hunt content coming your way. So I didn't ask you about it, but you know what I'm going to ask you to do. Smash the like button. Smash the subscribe button. It's all for free, but it's a massive help to us with the algorithm. From Jamie Wrenn, Andy Newton, George Gorman, and me, Emmet Kennedy, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate your support of the show. Enjoy your weekend. I hope that lucky 63 lands and I can crash Jamie's holiday. We'll just do a whole series of podcasts live from a sunny beach somewhere, Jamie. We'll have everybody else will be where they are. We'll just be on a beach trying to survive COVID, cracking open a few cocktails and having the crack. Look after yourself.
Do one in Cork City. We'll do one in Cork City, kid, this year. Me and you together in the pub.
Down to La Chateau, down to the Castle, down to Reardon's,
yeah,
down to Larry Tompkins. Knock it off.
Castle in Glenmire.
Castle in Glenmire as well. Yeah, I was talking about the castle in the city. We can go to the castle in Glenmire too. Yeah, knock it off. We'll bring the 2 boys over. We'll fly them over. We'll get Ryanair to sort them out. All right, that's it. We're done. From Clem Fandango and the whole team, look after yourself and each other. God bless.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Final Furlong podcast. We're independent media, so if you like what we do, hit like, share, and subscribe. It's free, it's quick, and it genuinely helps. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more where that came from. Don't miss out. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major platforms, and join us on the gravy train. The Final Furlong podcast, independent, unfiltered, and powered by you.